to speak to you about the ability to move yourself into a state of ability, which means that the part of self, instead of just launching into an idea, into a concept, into a duty, into a mission, into a way of being, has been very automatic for a very long time in each human. It's a lot like getting up out of the bed in the morning. It is a repetition of many times before. There are those thoughts that come and that go immediately upon awakening. There are those thoughts that come and go in the process of deciding whether to get up, unless, of course, you have overslept. That's a problem for some people. So moving yourself into this period of time where it is that you're collapsing your outer world, basically. You're collapsing it into yourself. You are bringing all the energies that have felt as though they are different, and especially those that are discordant, right? So that is discordant, and that doesn't work well, and that's a bad idea, and that person is evil, and that person has a personality, and that person smells bad. All these things, right? So it's a process of collapsing inside of yourself the ideas, the nourishment that your ego is looking for, which is always looking for validation, proof that what you're thinking is right. And then it gets something else to munch on. It's like a snack. It's like, I'm going to have a snack now. And it may mean that you're thinking about something you've thought about 10 times and you don't have the solution. Right? And you would like the solution, but you don't have it. But thinking about it isn't going to bring the solution in. So when you have the ability to collapse your universe inside yourself, or breathe it all inside of yourself, the activity of thought, if you want one, is that I am now collapsing and making this into a mini version or a minuscule or molecule energy, which contains all facets, and as it is collapsing into that minuscule aspect of self, it can be contained and safely contained. Right? There's no driving force to change it. There's nothing going on that you need to solve the problem. Nothing. You're just surrounding it and knowing that with your energy that whatever is out there, I am co-creating it, and I am willing. Question self, am I willing? Am I willing to accept this situation into my being? And hibernation would be a good term, but that means going to sleep. But being able to surround in love the problems, the people, the situations. It takes a visualization that is easy for the human to do that. So you can use images that you have seen anywhere that suits you, but it's as though everything is within a bubble. Everything. We don't even like that expression now, but it's a good word to say because it has its smooth edges. It has a way in which it can be luminous. Right? So you don't think of a dark bubble, maybe you do, but we're not thinking of a dark bubble. And that there's light bouncing off this bubble everywhere. And as the light bounces off this, as you're collapsing this particular creation into self with each breath, it is disappearing. And just like your body disappears and reappears so many thousands of times per second, there can be a recreation. With your heart, that happens. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to do it. Remember, the heart has those little thinking cells in there. And as you collapse your creation and bring it in, it's almost like a sign of reverence. It's like, all right, it's like the mama. I will enfold it all, even the wayward child, even the child from next door where the kiddo was, it was closed out of the house over there. So you want to take that child in too, perhaps, but you're closing the reality. You're bringing it into you because you are almighty and you are all powerful and you are in charge from the heart of the reality that's being created. So if each one takes responsibility for that, if each one gives themselves the infinite awareness and possibility of being co-created with the divine director and divine creator of the universe, and then you have a place of power. And you have already contained all of this, so it can't get away. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to get any worse. You've contained it. This should be a familiar word right now. But it's not about beating it. And it's not about beating it into submission. It's not about overpowering anything. It's about including. So include what it is that troubles you. Bring it in. Bring it to the holding away. This increases the distance, and it increases the feeling of separateness and the part of self that says, the chaos inside of the mind gets even more stirred up because it's fighting with something. Once you're fighting with something and you're separating yourself from it, then the solution is not going to unfold itself. And the dissolution of the problem is further away than ever. Leave room for magic. Know that dissolving, is it magic that you put salt or sugar in water and it dissolves and appears to disappear? That's what you want in your world. You want things to appear as though they disappear, but they're in solution, yes? Give it over. Give over into this universe. Those aspects of your creation, take responsibility. Those aspects of your creation that you do not know how to work with right now, and you're talking about it as solving it or pushing away or getting rid of it. It's always this turning sideways, pushing away, turning the head the other way, that causes the disconnection. If one can stay present in the moment, in connection with what is happening, then the solution. Salt can't run away from the glass you just dumped it in with the water. It has to go into solution. Why? Because it is contained. Yes? Think about these things. Life is so simple when you apply the principles of pure physics, simple physics. We're not talking complicated physics. We're talking about that. We're talking about yourself as a physical being with a physiology that has blossomed from this physical being. And therefore, when you go to bring wellness into your body, what do you start with? Of course, that's up to each one how they decide. But what we're suggesting is that you start with stopping. And something is not well in my body. All right, we have to give it permission to act up and act out and watch it and see it and feel it and contain it within the love aspect of the heart. And yes, it may act out and it may act up, but you're not focusing on it. You're giving it permission to be. So as you are moving through this period of time on the planet of Earth, give it all permission to be. And know that the solution and the dissolution are cosmic openings into a greater reality. Cosmic openings, more space into a reality that is not perceptible perhaps from the vision or even touching it, but it is. Who were you before you were born into this body? For certain, everybody was in a body before, yes? You don't like it when we touch on that you're coming back and you're going to do something else again, etc. So let's go backwards. Who were you last time? What were you doing? What was most important to you? If you don't know that about yourself, there's certainly a research project that could take on a very lovely aspect of yourself. And you don't want to listen to anyone say, you used to be, you were, you are like. That doesn't count here. What do you know about yourself? What did you bring with you that you will die for? Or the thought pattern of that there is some kind of creation and music inside of you, that you won't die until you get it out. I'm not leaving this place until. This is a good resolution. Remember, we're using this solution all the time, yes? Resolution, dissolution, inclusion, all these things. They are aspects of this great orchestra that you are playing each instrument in. And then you're also the observer of self and the whole. Then beyond that, you just are awareness. All these experiences that you are collecting in this life cycle are one great crescendo. Right? Not a finale, but a crescendo of the infinite possibilities that you've brought into your life, and some of the ones that you've forgotten about, that you didn't even remember to bring into your life. You forgot who you were. It's easy for us to say. Humans forget who they are, and that's all there is to it. They just forget who they are. So what practices can you pull into your moment to become aware? What practices? Follow your bliss is one that we really like from the point of view of being able to do something, because human likes to do things. And so that's a human, but when we come to the human being, that's a stretch, you know. Humans rather be mobilized because they have two legs, or they have a brain that goes everywhere. So relaxing, bringing yourself back home. Enfolding your universe, enfolding your creation. No, look at how the bird flies. How does the bird fly? Think of the dynamic of what's happening when the bird flies. Why is it able to fly and humans cannot? You can say it's aerodynamics, but we say no, it's not aerodynamics. Remember to enfold your creation in acceptance, and perhaps love is just some other aspect of acceptance. And sitting with your creation without judgment or wishing it to be different is a co-creation of beauty and the unfoldment of the new consciousness, which goes from third to fourth to fifth. But first you need to be grounded. Planting in an image of yourself that is capable of enfolding the entire universe. Do angels have wings to fly? They could if they wanted. But for the most part, the enfoldment aspect is more appealing to the human. So these things we say as encouragement, reminders. It's all in your hands, so to speak, or your wings, you know, in your heart. It's all in there, is all we can say. We'll just leave you with that. It is all in there. Practice. Come inside. Be inward. Stop worrying about how the world is going to judge you, criticize you, what you have to do to perform to be acceptable. You are lovable, worthy, and acceptable, just the way you are. And you remember the rest of the discourse, of course. And to say to oneself, I am. The brain goes in all directions. I am what? I am what? I am what? I am one. You can have one, all right. I've got to signal in on one. What does one mean? It means a little stick figure. It means everything is together. One. It's a word, O-N-E. One. When you shift to aware, I am aware. The brain will also go and say, well, I'm aware of this, I'm aware of that, I'm aware of this, so many different things, all different little compartments. But one says, I am awareness. That brings the experience in the physical realm that transcends total physicality into the etheric realm. Because the eyes can see, but they are instruments. They are not awareness. You are awareness at your core. The sphenoid bones that are part of your cranium here at the temples, you understand that if you get hit on the temples, you can be dead. Why? Because these 2 points here are entirely connected to your spine and all of your nervous system. And also connected in the etheric realm to your spirit, to your wings inside. And when you give permission for the expansiveness of yourself and the breath of yourself, think of a beautiful bird that has just taken off. It needs its legs to run, to launch it, but once it is launched, then what it needs is dynamic power within itself to lift itself and continue in the direction of lifting and experiencing. And if it's in a flock, it becomes an experience of a flock. If it is one bird that is lifting and expanding itself, it is experiencing total freedom in an expanse of nothingness, but using its awareness, not its thought patterns, using its awareness of what bird kingdom is about to continue on its way. Perhaps to return to the flock, perhaps to get something to eat, perhaps to just glide on the air currents. But it's in its bird kingdom. The human kingdom has no limits, and that's an absolutely correct statement. You transcend and you have taken your beingness into the rainbow body, and you become one with all the vibrations that are co-creating the entire reality. Then you will say, perhaps not in words, yes, that I am one with the entire universe. I am awareness. I am. And that goes on and on and on through all the dimensions. The continuing expansiveness of awareness, which increases the ability to interact or act upon or create possibility. It's never ending. It's a continuum, and you are part of it. And you're not on the bottom of the chain. You've already been a ladybug and a tiger. Take advantage. It's good to talk to little ones. Yes. We're not so sure that questions are a very good moment for this time here. I want to just keep reassuring the little ones that you have a lot of power you haven't used yet, and now's the time. Use it. Use your power. Be creative. Those things that you desire for your world and your family, for your planet, and for yourself, those are within the range of possibility. And it's not cleverness. It's the faith and the truth and the trust in awareness of who you truly are. Sporting a physical body with lots of little accoutrements in the physical body. Hair, nose, all these things that happen. But you are not that. You are one with the good vibration and the power of the divine. It's good to talk to you, little ones. And I am Kwan Yin.